In today's video, we're going to do episode 15 of making college PDFs accessible. This episode is going to cover Bakersfield College. Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump right in. Always, the very first step is to go to bakersfieldcollege.edu, and using the search feature, we're going to search for .pdf. And interesting enough, there are no files found. Let's keep searching. We're going to try just PDF instead. And here we go. We have an organizational chart archive, a catalog, health and safety forms. What do I actually want to make accessible today? That's always the question, right? Ooh, let's check out the accessibility training resources page. Ooh, we have app specific, PowerPoint and Word. We have LinkedIn Learning, Accessibility Center, Vision Resource Center. All right, so they link to a lot of different resources, but I guess let's just see what we can find. And I'm not finding any PDFs specifically. Let's try this again from the top. Let's search for a PDF, and then I guess we can go into the organizational chart archive, and let's try to find a recent one. I'm gonna do a search for 2024, and I've got nothing. Let's try 2023. All right, we've got instruction, organizational chart, July. Let's go ahead and, oh, I see. So they have everything as a web page right now. I guess let's just see what happens when we print it. Oh goodness, that is a very hefty chart. So it looks like Bakersfield has actually converted most of their content into web pages, but I know better. Let's keep looking. I always like to check out the Students with Disabilities department. So let's check out DSPS. And then in here, we have, let's see, to apply to services. Let's see if we can fill out this request form. Ah, it is a web form. All right, Bakersfield, you're impressing me a little bit. I like what you have here, removing a lot of the PDFs, because really, that type of information is just kind of annoying and difficult to fix. And so what it appears that you've done is what we try to get a lot of colleges to do, which is to create their content in an accessible way. And you all seem to be doing it via HTML. Let's keep looking though. Oh yeah, this is great. So it looks like they have accessible accordions. I guess we're just gonna keep looking. Let's try to find a PowerPoint file. Let's see, research and resources. And we have some stuff, fall 2020. Aha, all right, I found a document. So this is like, I mean, I really had to look for this, but here we are. I found one. Let's go ahead and download this PDF. All right, the very first step is to open up the tags panel. So to do that, I'm going to select the tags panel from my window, and voila, we can see that this document was probably created from Microsoft Word, and it's not really accessible. I can quickly determine that it's not accessible because there's no heading structure in here. I don't see an H1. There's some random section tags in here. I'm going to see how this document was made by selecting the menu button and then selecting document properties. And yeah, it was made for Microsoft Word 365. So I'm guessing they just didn't do it correctly. All right, so let's make this document accessible. I'm going to select the All Tools button and then go down to View More, and we are going to prepare for accessibility. And let's automatically tag this PDF. And what that did was it applied a much better structure for me. So we now have an H1 tag at the top, a P tag, an H2, P tag, H3, and it separated and removed a lot of our annoying content, like all the extra P tags. We then have a figure tag that is going to need some alternate text. We're going to right click, select properties, and let's add in our alt text. And we could say a pie chart that shows the fall 2020 enrollment for colleges relative to fall 2019 was down 85%, flat 9%, and up 6%. And then select close. I can make your documents accessible, whether you have PDF documents, PowerPoint files, Word documents. To find out how I can help you get accessible, check out the link in the description. Let's keep going. We have a P tag, and then we have this figure tag again. If we really wanted to, we could make this in heading level 4 instead of a P tag. So I'm gonna press F2 on my keyboard and change the tag to an H4. And then let's change this other figure text into an H4. We then have a figure tag. We then need to make sure that this bar chart has some alternate text. Unfortunately, they use 2 solid colors, which means that this this bar chart is not accessible visually. This means that this bar chart is not visually accessible. And so there's only so much we can do to make that up. And then what I would do for my alternate text is simply put in the data. And I would say a bar chart which shows the FTS and enrollment change from fall 2019 to fall 2020. And then select close. And let's keep going. We have a P tag. We have some H3 tags. That's perfect. We have a table that has a table header applied. Nice. Let's keep going. Let's see. These RQs have been tagged as H3s, so I'm going to continue tagging that as an H3. This one here, underneath the table, needs to be tagged as an H3. P tag, we'll do H4. And then let's give this chart some alt text. We will say percentage of colleges reporting enrollment decline on June 14th, 71%. June 30th, 79%. July 16th, 85% of colleges reporting enrollment decline. All right, we've got more P tags. We've got another figure. Let's make that an H4. And then let's give this figure tag some alt text. And we will say trend in FTES shows decreasing gap over time. And then, yeah, let's just keep walking the tags panel. And it's pretty accessible with that auto tag, which means they put a lot of work into the Word document, but just kind of drop the ball a little bit on the conversion. Let's check out the document properties. I'm going to select the menu button and then select document properties. And we have our title in here and our author. I want to set this to where the title is being displayed. So I'm going to set the initial view tab to show file name. Oh wait, to show document title instead of the file name. Interesting. And select OK. And then we'll hit save. There we go. Now it updated. And let's go ahead and run the accessibility check from within Adobe Acrobat. And I bet we're going to get all flying colors. Oh, tables. I forgot. All right. We need a table summary on our stinking table. To do that, I'm going to open up the Fix Reading Order tool, right click inside the table and select Edit Table Summary and add in my summary there. And then select OK. We can close that window out, save the file. Now let's open up the PAC 2024 tool and let's do some testing. All right, I'm gonna take my file and we're gonna drop it in. Oh wow, and we have a whole bunch of problems in here. Let's expand our results in detail out. So fonts need to be embedded, content, text object not tagged. Oh, we have our footer content not tagged on all 5 pages. That's interesting. It must have been artifacted a certain way. Table header cell assignments has no associated subcells. All right, we got quite a bit of stuff to fix here. Let's go ahead and start with the text object not tagged first. All right, I'm gonna go to my tags panel and I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom and create a new tag by right-clicking in the tags panel and selecting the P tag. And what I wanna do is I wanna try to find all that footer information that says it's not tagged and tag it. So I'm gonna select the options button in the tags panel and select find, and we're gonna select the option unmarked content, and we wanna search the document and select find. I'm not sure where it just took me, but I'm going to select tag element. All right, so it's finding these lines in the table, which is annoying, but we're already here. So I'm just gonna click through this and we're gonna tag all of these annoying lines. Yep, we're just gonna keep going. Okay, so that didn't quite find what I was looking for. We need to have this content like tagged, but I have a feeling it's been artifacted in the content panel. So let's review. We're gonna open up the content panel because I'm trying to find this footer and Oh, look, here is some footer content. You know what we're gonna do? Let's go back to the tags panel, and I'm gonna select that P tag again that has all those paths, and I'm just going to select all this content on the bottom, this footer content, and we're gonna select the options button and do create tag from selection, and that didn't quite get it. I know it didn't get it because I have the P tag selected, but there's nothing being highlighted here. So let's try this again. I'm gonna select all the text. Sometimes you have to do this multiple times. Select the options button and then do create tag from selection. Here we go. So now it's in there. When I select the P tag, I can determine that that footer content is on the bottom. Let's go ahead and do it again on page 2. We're gonna select all that footer content and select options, create tag from selection. Didn't work. Let's do it again. Select all the content, options, create tag from selection. That worked. We're gonna keep going. Select all the content on page 3, create tag from selection. Didn't work. It looks like it wants us to do it twice. I love repeating work, but it is working on the second time. So you know what? We're just gonna go with it. We're gonna select all that content. And what I'm doing is just like getting this all in a placeholder for now, because basically it was deleted incorrectly out of the PDF, which is why my PDF accessibility checker is telling me, hey Sean, we see this footer in here, but it's not tagged. And that's because it was not artifacted appropriately. But we're gonna fix that. So now when I select my P tag that has all these elements in it and I scroll, I can see all the content that's gonna be artifacted. And that includes all of this footer information. Now to artifact all that, I'm going to select all of these container elements from within that P tag. Holding my shift key to select them all, I'm going to right click and change tag to artifact. We're gonna leave artifact type to page and then select OK. And that gets rid of a ton of content. Okay, there's a couple of other ones that I know just off the top of my head. Let's go into pre-flight. We're gonna open up the pre-flight tool and we're gonna select the single wrench element and let's type in annotation. We want to create content entry for link annotations and select fix. We will select save. I then want to launch the pre-flight menu again, and this time we're going to search for font because we want to embed missing fonts, and then select fix, then save the file again, and then we'll close the pre-flight, we'll launch it again, and it may be hard to see, but I actually have the pre-flight menu on my quick access toolbar, which saves me a couple of clicks, which is nice. I'm then going to search for UA because I need to set the PDF UA1 entry, select fix, save it. And now let's launch the PAC tool again. And let's see, we had a bunch of errors in here, but I think I got rid of a lot of them. Let's see what happens. Look at that. We just got 2 errors under structure elements for PDF UA. Under tables, oh yeah, table header cell has no associated subcell. All right, this one's pretty fun to fix. Let's go to the table and I need to go to the prepare for accessibility options. We're gonna select fix reading order and then we're gonna right click inside of our table and select table editor. We're then gonna right click again and we're going to auto generate header cell IDs. And then we're going to select these cells 1 through 7 here. I'm holding my shift key. We're gonna right click it, select table cell properties, and under associated header cell IDs, I need to add in, let's see, row 1, cell 1, respondent, and select OK, and select OK. And we're gonna do it again on this other content. I'm simply holding the shift key and clicking each one of these rows, right clicking, table cell properties, adding the plus button under associated header cell IDs, and then we want row 1, cell 2, and select OK, select OK. Let's save the file, launch the PAC tool, and let's test it again. And looky there, we've got PDF UA compliant and WCAG compliant. Our quality tab is one that's failing, but that's because there's no bookmarks. That is fine for now. That concludes episode 15 for Bakersfield College on how to make college PDFs accessible. I would give this document an accessibility guy score of 6 out of 10. And to be honest, I gave them a couple of bonus points because of how good the college website was in terms of finding an inaccessible PDF. I really had to look around. It appears that they have converted most of their forms into HTML forms, and they have turned most of their content into HTML pages. And then once I ran the auto tagger on the PDF document, I could tell by how clean that it grabbed the tags that the Word document was actually created appropriately, it just wasn't exported. And then finally, we fixed a few things for PDF UA compliance. If you want to find out how I can help you get accessible, take a look at the links in the description of this video. And as always, I can be your personal accessibility expert. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.